And good evening. Welcome to the first University of Dubuque football show for 2024. A new show and a new coach. Head coach Ryan Myeri joining us for the program, the UD football show with Coach Myeri. We'll have this on Monday nights throughout the season, but because it was Labor Day yesterday and we weren't going to have it yesterday, I was off yesterday and some plans, and it just didn't work out. And so here we are on Tuesday night. Game week for the University of Dubuque Spartans, as the Spartans getting ready to welcome in Aurora University, which will be quite a challenge. We'll talk about that contest a little bit later on in our program, as the Spartans getting ready for the 2024 season. It's been just a beautiful fall so far for camp. I guess fall just beginning really officially on Labor Day as it goes, but it's been a beautiful camp, and we're anxious to talk with Coach Myeri about the Spartans. And Coach Myeri, welcome to the University of Dubuque football show for the first time in your career.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate your support and, just showcasing our program. I've actually watched this show quite a bit over the years. I enjoyed watching Coach Z and you, and so it's fun to be a part of the show now.
Well, we can save your critique for after the program. You can give us some pointers what we need to be doing better after this week's show. But you're into game week preparations this week, a little bit different than maybe over the course of the last few weeks. And, just talk about going through this week as you get ready for the 2024 season to kick off right here at Chalmers Field on Friday night.
Yeah. We've been putting a big emphasis on ourselves. This week our focus word is focus. So we've been talking about that as a program, and just in being attentive to details and discipline. And so it's been really good on the football field, going through all the different phases of the game, special teams, offense, defense, and doing some scout stuff, doing some, ones versus ones, twos versus twos still, to try to iron sharpens iron a little bit. And so it's been really good.
Things do take a bit of a turn as you head into game week preparation. How so? What's different when you hit game week?
I think it turns to like specific things, like in the scout stuff, like running what they do offensively, what they do defensively, to try to simulate those looks. But again, a lot of it right now, since there's newness, we're really focusing on us and our details, what we do, in those three phases of the game, and just putting the focus back on us and playing our game. We got a lot of new guys in our program, a lot of new coaches in our program, and then they also have a lot of new guys in their program. So it's just, we need to focus on us, the details. We do those things good, we're going to be okay.
All opened up, I think, on August the 17th. Is that when camp opened up? And take us back to that first team meeting with the players when you put your program into play and got together with the guys for the first time.
Yeah, we went right back to the beginning. Our first introduction meeting, we talked about discipline, accountability, and toughness. Those are the three things that we're hanging our hat on. So we spent a lot of time talking about that the first day, and then getting into the X's and O's and getting to know each other. We did a lot of small group stuff. We're doing some things called quiet time, and kind of guys sharing their hearts, being vulnerable with each other, and to help build camaraderie and connectedness with our team. So that's been really fun, and we've put that emphasis on that very first meeting and what we want to see, each day, not just the end vision. We talked about our vision. We have two things that our vision's about, but we don't put the focus on the vision. We put it on the process.
You talked a lot about relationships when you were first introduced as the head coach, and I believe you've really stressed that. But you mentioned some of the things, I guess, but are there any other team building things that you've tried to implement as you get these guys gelled together?
Yeah, so we created a book. We call it The Way of the Spartan. And there's some readings in there. We occasionally do readings together. Guys will talk about those readings. We have also everything matter words. And so each week we have a word that we discuss, and people share what that means to them, how we can implement that, what that looks like throughout the week for us, and how it can be impactful in our game. We've also done some small group things where guys have kind of shared their personal stories with their program, just trying to get to know each other on a deeper level. It's hard to trust anybody if you don't know who they are. So we got to take some time to talk to each other, get to learn each other a little bit, and then we can grow trust, and that has a great impact on Saturdays. Well, Friday night this week.
This is your first gig, I guess, as it goes, as a head football coach on the college level. So has the transition been pretty smooth for yourself?
Yeah, everyone's been really supportive, in the area of Dubuque, but also here at the university, and it's been great that we have some staff that was able to, that chose to stick around with us and be a part of the program. Coach Hookstead and Coach Huberty and Coach Crable, still being in the program has really helped with that transition because they kind of know how things go here a little bit. And that's helped some of us new guys that are in the program be able to transition a little quicker. And it's been really good for our players, too, to have some of that continuity.
If you can, I don't want to put you on the spot, but introduce all your coaches that you've got working with you this season. You mentioned a couple of them, and they're old-timers here, which folks recognize. So I think it's great to gel staffs, and those guys are quality coaches, so great to have them come back. But tell us about your staff.
Yeah, so Coach Hookstead is still running our offense. He's also working with our tight end group. Our offensive line coach is Coach Crable. He's assisted by Coach Plessel, so he's also a familiar face around here. In our running back room, it's Coach Detloff. He's a graduate assistant for us. He worked with the defense last year. We're trying to get him some experience on the offensive side this year to kind of help his development and growth as a graduate assistant. And then also helping in the quarterback room with myself is Coach Levan. And then our receiver coaches are Coach Edwards. He's a new face. I've had connection with him from Lakeland University, and he's worked with a guy that I'm really good friends with. And then Jordan Fox is assisting him. Coach Fox has actually taught classes here on campus. He's a lawyer in town, and he was actually a former student athlete of mine at Central. So he's assisting with the wide receivers. And then on the defense side of the ball, Coach Huberty has transitioned to D-line. He's a recruiting coordinator. He's doing a phenomenal job. And then at the linebacker level, Coach Shepard, he's a new face. He's our defensive coordinator working with the linebackers. Assisting him is Adam Steingraber. Everyone should know his name. He's been here for a while. He was a student athlete here and still works on campus. He does a great job for us. And in the secondary, we have Coach Cooper, who is a student athlete of mine at the University of Minnesota when I was a graduate assistant there. He's working with our secondary. And then Coach Green is our new GA. He's helping in the secondary. He's from Midland University, played linebacker there. He's an outstanding guy. So, we got a great staff, a lot of experience. Some guys that are, in their early stages of their coaching career, but we're working together and trying to develop each other, and it's been a great process so far.
I guess in terms of coaching philosophy, what can UD fans expect from the Spartan team?
I was actually ironically thinking about this morning, and I was like, think about a lot of stuff, but I was thinking this morning, like, what would I be proud of? I think so much. I feel like you need like wins to validate what you're doing, and I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, dang, we got to win this game Friday night, or everything that we've been working for. Like it's a joke, like if you don't win, right? But if we go through this game and we show that we're a disciplined program, that we hold each other accountable when someone falls short, and that we play with a lot of toughness emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Like we leave the first game that way, I'm gonna be pretty proud. And win, lose, or draw. So, you see those little things we see them like they're planted and they're starting to sprout, and that's been exciting. And I believe, at 9:30 Friday night, if we're seeing those things on the field, don't beat ourselves. Like, I'll be really proud of that.
The opponent will be Aurora University coming in, and we'll talk about Aurora here in just a little bit. We've got head coach Ryan Myeri. This is the first of our University of Dubuque football shows for this season, and it's certainly great to be talking football as September has rolled around. And Coach, you've had a couple of scrimmages. You scrimmaged a very outstanding program in Whitewater last week, and I think you had a scrimmage with Knox previously. And have those been beneficial, productive as you would like them to be, and sort of talk about how you went through those?
Yeah, it's always productive when you get an opportunity to go against another opponent, because there's some preparation, a little bit of preparation that goes in it. You don't focus a ton on what they're doing, but you get the opportunity to see how our guys respond to some of that competition. And we scrimmaged Knox first. It was an okay day. We made some mistakes, and we did some positive things, and we had an opportunity to learn and grow from that. I think we performed a lot better against Whitewater, but gosh dang, they're a really good program. So it was fun to see our guys compete and rise up to that opportunity and not back away or shy away from it. And we had a pretty clean scrimmage, and both programs were able to go through it and come out of it healthy. So that was very fun to watch. And Yeah, it was a good day.
This is the University of Dubuque Football Show with head coach Ryan Myeri. We've got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about the Spartans maybe a little bit more in depth on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, and then we'll break down the first opponent for the season. The Spartans taking on Aurora University under the lights Friday night right here at Chalmers Field that you see in the background. Beautiful shot of Chalmers Field. Great facility here at the University of Dubuque. And we'll come back and have more of the University of Dubuque Football Show with head coach Ryan Myeri right after this. This is the University of Dubuque Football Show on a Tuesday night, and we're talking with head coach Ryan Myeri, head coach of the University of Dubuque Spartans. First season as coach of the Spartans. He came from Central College where he was assistant coach there. How many years were you assistant at Central again?
I was heading into my 9th season.
Okay.
So I'd finished up 8 years, 9 years total.
So the American Rivers Conference, you know it inside and out after 9 seasons. Has that really been an advantage? Do you feel like that was a big advantage for you when you were taking your first head coaching job to have that type of familiarity?
Yeah, I believe so. You know, they're going to know what we do as well, but at the same time to have some familiarity with that and going into games, kind of know what to expect from programs, what they're about, not just X's and O's, but just the type of programs that they are. And you know, and I also love the American Rivers Conference. Like, I think it's one of the best in the country, and you know, it's very incredibly and competitive league. So I wanted to be a part of this league. I love the state of Iowa, so I really enjoyed my time here. My wife's also from Iowa, so we weren't going to move too far away. So
okay, where's her hometown at?
Knoxville, which is literally right next to Pella.
Yeah, that is very close. So that's where they race a lot of sprint cars.
Oh
right?
Yeah, that's the capital of the sprint car capital of the world, right there.
Yeah, and you know, Pella, you're going to be missing that great pastry they have downtown. I don't know how many stops you made down there a week, but
weekly. Definitely weekly. Sometimes more than just the once a week.
Yeah, I'd been right there, right behind line if I lived in Pella too, Coach. So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about this University of Dubuque football team a little bit more in depth. First of all, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. Got some familiar faces back and some newcomers on the squad. So we're going to talk about your offense a little bit and maybe tell us a few of the leaders that you expect are going to be playing big for the Spartans this season.
Well, I think the first guys you got to look at are our seniors, and specifically up front. You know, you got Wes Spitzmiller in the center there, anchoring the O-line down. And then also we got a returning starter that'll be a junior in C.J. Tolbert. You know, those two guys are going to kind of pave the way for us up front. We got a couple of guys in the line getting their first opportunities, and then some guys that are returners that are multi-year starters. But those two guys kind of make us go up front. And then obviously as a signal caller right behind Wes, you get Ben Gultig back. That was an all-conference player as a sophomore and missed last year due to injury. But to have him back, and he's playing at a really high level right now. He's picked up the offense incredibly quick. It's been a lot of fun to work with him. He's got an incredible work ethic and just a great guy overall. And then when you look in our skill room, it's just it's different. You know, Cameron Bryce is, I think, one of the best receivers in the country. It'll be my responsibility to make sure that shows, and I'm excited for that opportunity. You also got guys like Wade Sheets. You know, I think he's a top receiver in the country too. He's coming back from an ACL though, so We might not see him the first couple of weeks, but hopefully before too long we'll get him back on the field. He's been working himself back in, but when those two guys are out on the field, it's hard to pick who you cover. And then the X factor is Jamari Jenkins. And when you put him in the middle of all that, he might be the scariest of them all. And so he's a matchup nightmare. He's a tight end, but he plays like a slot receiver. He has that ability. I think, again, if we do our jobs right as coaches and they're able to execute on the field, like, he can have an incredible season, All-American caliber season. I'm excited to see that too. Like, it's a really good group, ton of experience. I said that in my introductory meeting. Our interview is like at press conference. The cupboard's full. Like, it's our responsibility as coaches to put our guys in the best position to succeed and allow them to do that, and we have the guys to do that for sure.
Defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about the Spartans defensively.
Yeah, so there's a lot of experience there too. I think when you look at our defense, though, up front, you got guys like Parker Nowitzki. That's going to be a familiar name. Guys are going to know who that is immediately. And then you got kind of some new faces that will show up. Some guys that played a little bit last year, like Josiah Perez, you'll see him out there. He had a pretty solid season last year as a true freshman. He'll be coming back. And then Nick Thalaker, and then also a new face, Keyshawn Johnson. He actually came here as a freshman, left to go to JUCO, and now he's back. And he'll be a junior on the field. He's had a really good camp, so we're excited to see what he does. And then there's going to be a couple other guys that work themselves in up front on the D-line, A.K. Wilson and a couple other guys. So really good up front. Feel like we got good depth there. At the second level in the linebacker room, that's kind of anchored by C.J. Dean. He's had a lot of experience here. Channing Williams, he's been great for us. So really talented group there. And then on the back end, getting Dalton Wood back is huge. He chose to come back for a fifth year. We found that out in the middle of summer. He's obviously got a ton of experience. And just having his leadership and ability, and that's huge for our back end. And you'll see some new faces back there and some familiar faces as well. A.J. Rashid, and we got a transfer corner, Etwood Williams. Just some really good talent back there.
Special teams wise, I know you've been working hard on that in practice, and where are you at there? And just talk about the focus of special teams. That's obviously sometimes it's an underappreciated aspect of football, but boy, it can win you ball games, it can lose you ball games.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, and we allocate at least 30 minutes roughly every practice to special teams, all the different phases. So we're spending quite a bit of time on that, heavy emphasis there, and those are some things like when you look at the whitewater scrimmage that we need to improve on. You don't really know until you start facing some other opponents when you're just going against yourself. So we got in that scrimmage. That was eye-opening for us. So it allowed us an opportunity to kind of clean up some of those things in different phases of the game. So we're working hard at it, that's for sure.
All right, well, we're anxious to see the Spartans for the first time on Friday night, and that'll be against Aurora University. It's a big night. It's a Hall of Fame night at Chalmers Field, and so that's even more exciting to have some Hall of Famers back and to induct them and just be a part of the University of Dubuque tradition for the first time as a head coach.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's super exciting. Like, I don't even quite know what to expect, but to have that opportunity to the opening night and have a night game and yeah, it's going to be pretty special. We're excited for it, that's for sure.
So the opponent, Aurora University, I believe they're 15th ranked in the Division III D3Football.com poll, and named the favorite to capture the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference football crown. Playoff team the last couple of years, and beat a conference foe last year, I think, in the first round. And so this is a team that's won 38 consecutive league games, and of course they were 11-1 last year, losing for the first time there in the playoffs. But this is a team that you're setting the bar high with this team to open up the season with. Yeah,
there's not an easy game on our schedule, I'll tell you that. And the opening game, start out against the number 15 team, and they've been an incredible program since Coach Beebe took over, and they were good. They were solid before that, but he's really, grown that program, and year in and year out, they're contending one for not just their conference, but also nationally. So they're going to be. I know it's kind of like coach talk, but they're actually really incredibly coached. They're a well-coached team. They're going to be strong in all phases of the game. They have a bunch of freaks running around the field. So our responsibility is to play our game and match those guys meet their intensity with our intensity.
We'll talk about them from what you've seen from last year or know about them offensively. What are some of the keys? Do they have a lot of returners back on that side of the ball? And just talk about your expectations of their offense.
So we share two deeps. They have some new faces defensively. Like there's quite a few guys that they need to replace at the second and third level. But the strength of their defense, and I believe it even was last year, was they have two studs in the interior D-line, really talented guys. One of the guys that they do have to replace that I thought he might be one of the best linebackers was they had number 13. He was a Mike linebacker. He was a stud. So replacing that, I'm guessing, will be a challenge for them. But they're a strong program, so it's just going to kind of be plug and play. And to be able to replace those guys, I'm sure they won't have any issues with that. And offensively, they return a ton of guys, and they actually got a couple guys out of transfer portal at receiver that are great skill guys. So they did a heck of a job in recruiting. Shoot, their left guard is one of the best I've probably ever seen in like D3. He's a freakazoid. So yeah, it's gonna be a heck of a matchup.
The transfer portal is making its impact in D3 too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Well, it's going to be an interesting matchup when you take on Aurora University under the lights. It's always a festive situation on a Friday night, and the only Friday night game of the season. I'm glad because I have to work most Friday nights to watch high school football with the radio station I do the games for in town, KDTH. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see your debut game, but excited for the rest of the season.
I appreciate that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about just final thoughts. I guess let's talk a little bit about the American Rivers Conference. You know, the schedule ahead after Aurora. You mentioned it's a heavy schedule with the Platteville Pioneers, the second game of the season. Then you've got the American Rivers Conference. You're worried about week 1 and week 2, but that's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, and there's really, like I said, our conference is, I believe, really strong top to bottom. And shoot, this year I think there's 3 teams. Any team can win it. You know, like there's a lot of talent coming back at Wartburg Central and Co. And Simpson's going to get better. They did a great job in recruiting. They were already getting better last year. And now they got guys coming into the program, and they've kind of turned things around there. And so, yeah, and that's our first game, for conference play. And then you back that up with Co. Like, it's going to be – there's no easy ones. So,
Coach, we appreciate your time. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with here as you get ready to embark on the 2024 season?
No, I'm just super blessed to be here. I'm excited for this opportunity, and I appreciate your coverage and support of our program, and for all the listeners and the support. Hopefully everyone shows up for Friday night. Hopefully there's not too many high school games we're losing out to, but that's a tough thing with Friday night games. I believe that's a high school night game, and that's meant to be for high school. So we'll kind of deal with that as we go, but it is what it is.
Yep, you're seeing it on the landscape now. Some college teams are playing their Friday night football games, but I'm with you. High school football on Friday nights. So anyway, we'll hope for the best for the Spartans. 6 o'clock kickoff against the Aurora University. Get here and support the Spartans if you can. Sounds like it's going to be beautiful weather for that opener under the lights. Maybe you might even have to grab a jacket the way it sounds on Friday night.
That's why I'm practicing with the sweatshirt right now. Getting ready.
He's ready with his fall gear on right here on the show. And you'll be able to view this program on the YouTube. That's, I think, what we're on the YouTube channel, the University of Dubuque, and also on udspartans.com. Don't think we're there tonight, but look for that maybe on future shows. And I believe Huddle is another place you can check out the University of Dubuque football show. So, Coach, best of luck against Aurora University coming up on Friday night, and we will talk to you next Monday.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, this has been the University of Dubuque football show with head football coach Ryan Myeri joining us. I'm Tim Larry on udspartans.com.